Doublelift on your screen. Love to see those two go head-to-head, but the 2v nuns have kind of been burdening the LCS maps as of late. We'll see what the last picks are coming in. Aphromoo, no notebook for him. It's all in the minds of CLG as they come into Champion Select.
Absolutely. The ban of Jax as well. Making sure to take that away from Seraph. Seraph had a very good Jax game in week 2. Balls as well, even though they have first pick, is a Jax player, but they're having their eyes set elsewhere. There's a fair amount of mid lane bans. That's not uncommon in the North American LCS here. Link definitely looks to try and hold a 1v1 edge over High, mainly because High's been struggling lately in that mid lane.
Kha'Zix goes out.
That's really interesting, actually. High's champion pool has been very small, and he's basically been going Kha'Zix, and you obviously can't go Kha'Zix every game, but CLG actually just bans it away, pushing him even farther outside of his comfort zone. I really do wonder what High is going to fall back on at this point.
Absolutely been tough for him since a lot of the changes came into Champions. No more Gragas in the middle anymore. That was something I used to play all the time.
Yeah, Gragas was reworked, so he's a different type of champion, probably best at support right now. Lulu is banned. LeBlanc is banned. These are all the champions High plays, including Casted and Kha'Zix. The things he has left would be Soraka, which has been significantly nerfed.
Right.
At that point, maybe he goes back to Orianna, something he's played a fair bit of in the past, but his pool has been heavily attacked.
That's something that surprised me there, although CLG's not on blue this time to kind of see what team C9 would put out. That Ori and Alistar combo was available. Now taking up the Morgana, kind of taking that away from Lemon Nation with the first pick as well, because Doublelift and Aphromoo love Thresh Lucian combo. They made that statement last week.
And they got the double kill early on in the game against Dignitas with that very combo. Doublelift is adamant that Lucian is the best AD carry in the land. Cloud9 as well, though, did lose to Altec's Twitch yesterday. Could not get to the backline to dive on him. I wonder if they do a similar thing here. If they just try and snatch up the Twitch before the counterpicking begins to happen. Just pick the generic top tier AD carries.
Or not.
Interesting.
They do get Lemon's support, though. Not a necessary pick, seeing one on the board, but that just gives them more time to pick out for High, let them know what's going in the mid lane, because like we said, his champion pool is really whittled down here.
Yeah, Seraph, of course, played Shyvana yesterday
So
in a game that he was definitely not involved in many of the team fights. He's the person that CLG uses to go around and clear waves that they don't necessarily want to deal with. CLG has incredibly good synergy with the 4 of them, and just kind of like Yen had to pick up the free farm in other lanes. That's the role Seraph has been placed into, so very much a plugged into the CLG system top laner. Still making a few mistakes here and there.
Taking out the Renekton, that'll keep him safe in the top lane. We saw a little bit of Snoopy on Eve yesterday. Dexter's going to put him in the hands today, get some work done with that. See how he can get himself around the jungle. With all this roaming, Eve almost just loves to be in the game right now.
Yeah, look for some big-time deep wards from Dexter on Eve, and see if Meteos can keep tabs of where he's going, especially with that Lee Sin in the jungle. A lot of early pressure from Lee Sin. Eve has a lot of early pressure in terms of vision control, but her actual dueling early on in the game isn't that great. So we're going to have to track that jungle matchup pretty tightly.
Wow, both mid laners leaving it all the way through. I feel like that's almost out of his comfort zone, but definitely hurts Link as well with that pick. Wow, Twisted Fate locked right in. Not even a second thought given there.
That's exactly the matchup that teams play against Nidalee, is they pick the Twisted Fate. It's one of the things that prevents her disengage better than anything else. You just teleport exactly next to her, throw the stun card, and she doesn't have the burst damage to counteract that. So Link used to be known, actually, as one of the best Twisted Fates in North America back in 2013. I like that pick from CLG. It's a very interesting choice from High. We'll have to see how his spear accuracy does this game, because Link was pretty much on point yesterday with it.
And we talked a little bit about how roaming is affected, and we'll get that when the game starts, because with how everybody goes around the jungle now, once Link hits 6, he'll be able to just teleport to lanes. High's going to have a hard time getting around. We'll jump on to that, but these teams ready to get into our second day here in the third week. Cloud9 versus Counter Logic Gaming, 2 teams that should be at the top, but Cloud9 hasn't really gotten the way up that ladder yet. Let's head over to lolesports.com here and see who you've been predicting to take the first win of the day. You are calling the game for Cloud9 with 53%. Super close vote, but it still keeps going.
Yeah, and you can also continue to vote on Twitter. You send the hashtag C9win or the hashtag CLGwin to the @LOLesports Twitter account, and that will affect the poll throughout the game. Usually usually what we see from these ones is when we go into the game, CLG will get more of the Twitter vote because people will say, oh no, Cloud9 has 53%. No way, CLG's in first place.
It's also still semi-early for gamers.
Yeah,
so they got to.
It is. Yeah, there was a lot of sleeping going on in the green rooms for the CLG team. Not used to the early rising. It's only 12:24 right now, local time.
Yeah. Still early for gamers. Got to realize that. So with this matchup, we'll obviously start to see how the league is going to spread out. Everybody's played each other now. This is the second real round. We're going to see how these teams can really get the second time in and if they've done their homework.
The first time these teams played, Doublelift played Vayne and actually got fairly heavily controlled by Cloud9. It looked like business as usual for Cloud9 during that game, even though every other match Cloud9 has played has been anything but that.
Look at this start from Lemon Nation. Super early going for the Sightstone. Ruby Health Crystal will start with his sweeper out already.
Yeah, Lemon has actually been doing a lot of ward starting, placing the ward, then going back to base for the sweeper. But the fact that he has a sweeper right now means they might want to do an even earlier invade. CLG is up to the task, though.
This is what you need to do against CLG, where we say they're a team that kind of plans things more than one step ahead, so you have to get under their skin immediately. This could be big. Dark Binding, gold card. Looks like they're going to be able to get out. That was one heck of a needle thread right there.
Yeah, wide left on the death sentence. It does harass him slightly, but what this mainly does is it allows CLG to get vision, at least wards down, in the red buff of Cloud9, and it's not a huge loss for Cloud9 because they took a little bit of damage, but they saw exactly where CLG went. Whereas CLG, I believe, has not seen exactly where Cloud9 has went. They can only assume where the wards are and where they went.
Make sure this one's placed. I get that one in safe. No turrets, obviously going to see that. But everybody now moving back towards the mid. CLG kind of wants to reset. Hopefully they don't get picked off, they're thinking, as they make their way back into their own jungle. So this is a little different. Usually we see them waiting.
And another thing that's different is just where they decided to place the wards themselves. Cloud9 wanted to place the ward in the lane, whereas CLG more wanted to place the wards around the red buff and the approaching zone. They're more worried about Eve getting run into by Lee Sin, because if Lee Sin were to catch Dexter at the red buff fight there, he'd probably be able to beat him real quick. So CLG wants to know if they need to send supportive help, since their bottom lane is in the bottom lane.
Right.
And they could help him do the little vertical buff trade that we see so much in the LCS.
So whatever may have come to be with that sweeper start and Ruby Crystal seems to be thwarted now. CLG getting the bottom lane dragon control in this lane swap here. We saw this happen quite a bit yesterday and definitely gave the red team the early lead. We'll see how they start to play it. Yeah. We'll see how High plays this matchup versus Link mid. We've been talking about a bit of the roaming now that so many people are in the jungle. High used to be a big roamer, but he can't now.
And especially with the on-demand gold card, it has a decent amount of chained CC potential right off the bat. We're, of course, seeing the double jungle as well. This doesn't favor Cloud9. Meteos likes to be able to do his own thing and pressure lanes at his leisure at the start of the game, and he can't do that when he has a friend next to him in the jungle the whole time. He loves to gank for balls. He doesn't like following him around the whole game, though.
Right. We actually saw it have a big effect in the complexity game. It wasn't big enough, and Robert actually and the team took a triple kill off of that, so they have to be a little more careful considering everything they do. And you can see Link trying to push High up to that turret as regular and just get some harass on him from here on out. There's the roam.
Yeah,
level 2 Lemon. I was going to say level 3.
Because everything is dangerous at this point in the game. And there's the 3-minute, 30-second
level 1
dragon.
Seraph.
Hey,
needs some XP.
Got a full rage bar.
Yeah, he does.
He's going to get level 2 here real soon. Yeah, not really a counterplay for Cloud9 to make to this.
They're getting
I still feel like one of these days the team's going to start harassing this just a little bit. They're doing a really good job of switching the Dragon auto attacks, though. Dragon has a very slow auto attack timer. So if it starts his auto attack and then you move a new target closer than the previous target he was attacking, he will cancel that auto attack and begin a new one on the new target. It's actually really difficult to do, but these pro teams have gotten very good at bouncing his aggro back and forth to take almost no damage from the Dragon.
Very nice try on the hook there. Link was also, I think, one of the first mid laners to come down and grab experience on that too, so that's going to help against High in the mid lane a little bit as he farms himself away. 6.1 to 5.2, just 1,000 gold lead and a little bit of farm in the favor of CLG right now, but I'm pretty sure this is what Cloud9 didn't want, a bit of an upper hand to go to CLG so early.
Yeah, Cloud9 used to be the team that rotated, moved around the map better, would be able to capitalize on small advantages. We've seen so much of their games in 2013 where they'd have that slight lead, or even 2014 Spring Split.
Right.
The slight lead, go into a dragon fight, clean house, and then never let up a lead. Lately, they've taken that slight disadvantage into a dragon fight, lost the dragon fight, and then lost control of the game. It's not the Cloud9 we're used to seeing.
Lemon Nation finally returning back to lane. Does have that sight stone, so it's going to be very early there. Dexter picks up a pink as well, keeping himself safe and also trying to get some deep wards in to keep CLG on the up and up here. Only 5 minutes in. It looks like it's pretty calm on the home front here for both teams. No first bloods look to be in range.
I feel like aside from mid lane ganks, the teams are expecting this one to be very calm until about 7 minutes and 45 seconds or so when they're going to try and push down those side lanes. At the moment, the AD carries are just accumulating their farm. Both teams playing very similar strategies, doing the same jungle support trading of the jungle mobs, doing a fair bit of isolated farming. This is really the first move we're going to get to see as someone tries to shut down Sneaky even a little bit.
And we see this quite a bit as well.
Oh,
Dexter,
this is a great bait.
In the back pocket of Seraph, always helping that top lane. Dexter comes in, throws down some Qs, hate spikes go out, Sneaky's going to go down. Great kill on the AD carry for first blood.
I really like that move from CLG. Teams have been attacking Seraph again and again, and generally CLG has just been letting it happen and trying to take their advantages elsewhere. This time, they use that vulnerable-looking top laner right at the start of the game to get the counter. Seraph jumps right in as the gank arrives. Easy kill onto Sneaky.
Simple harass. Good plays by Lemon, though. Get him into the turret range. A bit more pressure on that one, so he knows he's not going to get simply dove under the turret. Sneaky gets back safe. Good plays coming in from Dexter, saying that those two have a hard time getting things to work in their communication. We remember the dive onto Dyrus. Didn't work out so well, but seems to be cleaning up a little bit.
Ooh, Medios walks right past a pink ward.
He
Go
got
back
pink.
and clean that out.
Somebody.
Come on, man. There we go.
He's like, are you sure? I don't see it.
Yeah.
He walked out again.
That's honestly one of the things as a jungler. You're always looking for your next gank, and honestly, good junglers are almost never looking at themselves when they're jungling. They're trying to analyze the lanes. It is very easy to walk clean through a pink ward and not notice it.
High 53 to 53 in the mid lane, but the first buy of a needlessly large rod coming in from Link. Definitely going to put out some hurt damage, and well as maybe Zanya's playmaker coming up quite fast.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what he needs against Nidalee, because he needs to be able to teleport in very deep to team fights. The way this CLG composition is going to be working in team fights is generally you want Eve to flank and Twisted Fate to arrive with the Eve. So you have a huge burst of upfront damage on whatever squishy target you need, preferably the Twitch, and basically negate the peel potential of that Thresh. That's what CLG is going to want to do, and that's why Link needs Zanyas, because he needs to teleport in very deep.
A kill coming in that top lane for Sneaky definitely causes Cloud9 to start picking up the pink wards. We see one on Medios and High now to start coverage on that top side of the map. Blue buff over to High, and we'll see if he can start to put any pressure on Link. Just laying down traps. A few spears, but easily dodged out.
Yeah, with the blue buff on High, the kill potential of Link by himself is pretty much non-existent. They're both just looking to shove the lane. TF can shove much faster, and even if High does take harass because of the blue buff, he should be able to heal up very quickly. That is turned into a farm lane, but in the matchup, the Twisted Fate has more freedom and is also in more risk because he's the one pushed up all the time.
The good moves, the good wards, keeping the mids safe as the junglers actually go for red buff denials on each other. Looks like this top turret's going to go down quite fast. Cloud9 may be able to start moving around the map and thwart what would be a quick second dragon in 1 minute.
Yeah, Medios walks
Right.
the Tri-Brush.
There we go.
Figures he's going to get the ward on the way back. It was more about pushing Seraph completely off the turret. As far as games go right here, the top laners are denied as usual by the lane swapping, and they're now both playing catch-up. This is not the way Balls likes to play League. When Cloud9 is successful, this was the moment in the game where Balls would be turret diving the other top laner, Medios would be ganking them.
Yeah.
Cloud9 can't play that way with the way the metagame is right now, and CLG could not be happier about it.
They're going to get some gold on their side. Oh, the minion just stepping in front there as Link squeezes behind for safety. Make sure he's got the right card for the right situation and he stays safe. We'll see what they can produce here in the bottom lane. Doublelift, they're still free farming. 85 to 66. That hit on Sneaky in the early game is really going to put a hurt on the team fights.
Yeah, just a nice controlled early game here by CLG. Being red side and getting the lane in the bottom. They wanted the Morgana lane. Cloud9 doesn't necessarily want to lane Twitch against the Morg, or the Lucian for that matter.
Right.
And the Dragon respawn is actually incredibly critical right now. This has kind of been Cloud9's Achilles heel. Mid-game Dragon fights, when they're actually down in gold. They've been losing these again and again. With Dexter being level 6, the EVE ultimate would be able to flank if they can get some vision control. This is where Cloud9's been losing their games. Let's see if they can control this one a little bit better.
And CLG is on great movement right now. Walking down towards the bottom side, we have Seraph teleport up, and he's even here to just get there for the Dragon fight. So he can teleport back to the top lane, stop whatever Balls does. They're coming out big here.
And the vision control is lost. At this point, the cohesiveness of Cloud9 isn't the same as CLG. High has to burn Flash and
gotta watch out. Teleport coming in. They do have vision on that. Destiny's going to keep them safe, but that is the poke game here. This is where, even though Cloud9 is behind, they can use High effectively to just keep CLG from doing this.
Yeah, but remember, there's no flash on the Nidalee, so if another Stun or Dark Binding lands, he's basically dead to rights. No summoners burned by CLG throughout that. And Seraph's still with the teleport if he wants to do that. Cloud9 trying to get some poke down with spears, and successfully doing so.
They're locking it in right now as much as they need to. Dexter just on the bottom side. They still have quite a bit of pressure to put back on the fight from CLG's side. This is the first time Seraph has really been up really early in the lane, so he's building damage. Usually we see him with a Giant Builder armor coming out first, so he could be in effect in this fight.
It's about whether the binding lands or if Eve can successfully flank around the back of Cloud9. Those are really what we're looking for. But with all the Nidalee traps, CLG has to be very careful about where they walk. And because they have the Nidalee trap line, Cloud9's trying to get a little bit of pressure through the mid lane. Both these teams will peel off the Dragon to get turrets. It's very much a game of chicken. How willing are teams to commit to Dragon versus exposing their own turrets?
Looks like they will not expose Dragon. They're going to go ahead and try to get it cleared up once more. Sweet.
And at this point, CLG pushes down mid.
Yep.
Or are they actually coming through? It's all about the vision control and how much risk Cloud9 is willing to expose themselves into. Level 6 on Thresh, only 5 on Morgana.
CLG has a huge wave in mid they're not even working with right now. They're toying and have given the Dragon over to Cloud9. Now can semi-work off of this wave that's only 3 minions.
Looks like Cloud9 outplayed him right there.
Yeah.
They had the positional edge. It was the push and pull, the game of chicken, the vision control. They landed a couple Nidalee Spears onto Aphromoo. There was no Twisted Fate ultimate up because that was burnt very early on. And honestly, the level 6 discrepancy between the supports, our featured matchup, was a pretty big deal. No Morgana ultimate to zone in that team fight. Means CLG has to forfeit the Dragon. Yeah,
they made sure they actually went after him as well with those spears, making sure that the playmaker, and pretty much being called the top support in NA right now, couldn't have an effect on the fight. They know where the power is coming from. CLG, you need to shut down those guys that are going to bring the momentum to the team. 2,000 gold in the lead is still Counter Logic Gaming, so they have a little bit of room to work with here. But there's some good gold in the pockets of Cloud9 that haven't been spent yet.
Yeah, one extra thing that is adding to the gold lead of CLG, even though they're even on turrets and only slightly ahead on farm across the board, is the fact that Morgana has a Spell Thief's Edge, whereas Lemonation started with that Health Crystal. So it's actually been upgraded to a Frostfang. It's given 250 gold. And the Twisted Fate passive has actually been giving 400 gold over to Link at this point in the game. So that's one of the big reasons the gold looks so disparaging.
Link actually throwing down the magic resist. He wanted to get that needlessly large rod in there for a little bit of effect damage. And then he goes straight for the Athenes after. Neat build, giving himself what he needs to stay safe. Going over the blue buff again for High. Pink wards all around, but Dexter really hasn't been getting himself deep here. CLG's just been playing the map safely, and we see Seraph doing quite well against Balls in the top lane. He finds the Penguin Tails, a double lift there.
Yeah, Double's got to be a little bit careful now. He does have his Bloodthirster and he wants to lifesteal up, but he's taken so many spears that another one would end his life before he can steal some.
So many skill shots. Destiny goes down, pulls the cards out. It's going to be possibly a full house on this one. There's the lockdown, only the slow, not the yellow card coming out. A little bit of a misclick, and they're not able to finalize a culling that sweeps wide to the right.
Really nice disengage there by Cloud9, stopping the Renekton. Almost everything used by CLG, but there was no binding really to trick that initiation into starting. And Balls is just happily farming the top lane. As long as Cloud9 can farm these waves out, it's a bunch of burn cooldowns for CLG.
CLG not getting that plan that they put in order to work.
Flash and Ghost were burned by Link in that fight as well.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, normally the Flash Ghost Twisted Fates are very free in the way they use summoner spells because they have 2 escapes. Yeah. It's usually one or the other that they'll use, not just both right off the bat, especially for no big gain.
High's definitely dead on with where these spears are going, causing everybody to dodge. Looks like another one missed by Lemon Nation. They are on the hunt for kills right now. Aframu trying to do some dark bindage if he can get anybody off of the turret. But right now, Cloud9 feels like they have a lead and they can push around CLG, it seems like.
Yeah, they're playing with a lot of confidence, which is what they need to do against CLG, because CLG will dare teams to push into places and then try and take advantages elsewhere. Doublelift keeps getting caught out by those spears. Obviously, they come so frequently, it's not easy to dodge. But Doublelift is usually really good at dodging spears. I remember multiple games last split where he was nearly impossible to hit. He is not on his game right now.
Wow, High.
High is an assassin.
High is going crazy with these spears right now. Doublelift not safe, but he actually throws it for Link. Didn't know Doublelift was just on the edge there.
So that being said, though, the wave clear potential of Twisted Fate is keeping this push at bay. It's a really long siege that Cloud9 wants to try and pull off. But with the wave clear that comes out from Twisted Fate, how much can they really get?
He's not a Ziggs, but he definitely makes you want to pull your hair out when you get to the turret. First red card slows down the front line, and they can't even really get shots onto the turret.
Can't get a single shot onto the turret. Twisted Fate is almost as difficult to push against as Ziggs. So it makes it very hard for Cloud9 to put up sieges. It's another one of the big reasons Twisted Fate is such a popular pick against Nidalee, because he can prevent the sieges as well as initiate while a team is sieging.
Spot on. We're going to get a percentage after this game.
Doublelift is a magnet right now.
60 minutes in, Doublelift considering a Negatron cloak for his next purchase. He's going to go ahead and back out of the lane and keep himself safe. The Bloodthirster will get him back up on the Wraiths, if there even are Wraiths to be grabbed. CLG's been on their own side of the map here. It seems like whatever aggression they had has really been stalled.
And this is the game Cloud9 likes to play. They've had an isolated-ish lane between Balls and Seraph, and it's what they want to be able to capitalize off of, but it hasn't been so. Also, we're sneaky.
Dun-dun. Goes on. Doublelift's going to be able to get the Black Shield. I don't think he can stay in lane without being half health right now.
Cloud9 is heavily pressuring Doublelift's
oh my gosh!
attempted farming, and High is just playing fantastic on Nidalee.
You can hear the crowd absolutely loving these spears coming in. Missed a few in the early game, but he is spot on right now, and that confidence of High gives Cloud9 huge confidence.
But his blue buff is gone now, and he's actually expended a large proportion of his mana pool on that spear harass, so the siege is over once they get the turret. They also have to respond to Link's Twisted Fate, who's gonna have to use his ultimate to get out of there pretty quick.
Good pressure, though. Able to draw Cloud9 away.
He's got to get out of there. Ultimate pop.
Tying the shoes. This is going to be coast to coast. He's out. Safe play. And the
now
team goes mid. Very nicely done. If they can get this in time, at least a few bits damage on the turret, they'll definitely be able to open up the map as much as Cloud9 here and stave off that pressure. 8 seconds on Dragon, so this is also great for that.
Yeah, CLG has done a great job of keeping their farm up through all this. Everyone on their team, really, even Seraph and Balls in the top lane. Balls is not punishing him in the 1v1, despite them being level 10 each. And now it's all about who can teleport into this next Dragon fight, or if Cloud9 harasses the CLG, kind of beat him to the punch. Balls, maybe he teleports in about now.
They have the wards they need. Destiny's down, but the vision is there. Dexter gets grabbed. He flashes out of the fight. A nice calling to answer back on the damage, and Balls is really the tank line right now as they retreat from the fight. CLG making some high decisions under pressure.
That was all about timing right there. CLG knew they could go in. The spears land, but they were yet to capitalize big things off of it. They're not able to initiate afterwards. And Doublelift is able to lifesteal at least a little bit, but holy, he's hitting a lot of them.
Something that you see CLG doing, even if they're under pressure, what they plan is so good. That all started with Link just going to the bottom lane, and he drew 3 and kind of a half members down. We saw Meteos not really buying it, but that was all mid, and then Dragon, and they put themselves up 4,000 gold in the game now.
Still 2 turrets to 2 as well. Come on, man. He's done that like 5 times. High hides behind that wall in the lane and throws Doublelift, because Doublelift trying to hit the creep wave before his own minions align with it. If he would just wait a couple more seconds, he would
walk behind that first minion.
Exactly.
You're safe.
At least he lifesteals up after it, so it's not really a huge loss. Just giving him spear.
He's giving him a false sense of security. Let's just be real. 3K shortened up a little bit on that gold lead as Cloud9 is trying to open up the map pressure. No second-tier turrets found yet, so they can't add additional pressure. But we're still looking at balls to get a good push in one of these lanes. Meteos soaking up in the top lane. Junglers are actually pretty evened out this game, 89 to 82. They've both had a bit of presence around the map, but not game presence. A lot in the lanes lately.
Well, this is the type of game that CLG has been playing. It's very low in kills, and they're waiting for Cloud9 to commit in one direction, and then they're going to kind of take what the map gives them. CLG's all about setting up a powerful enough split push here and abusing their vision edges. They want Link to be able to split push, and then Dexter probably to be able to find an initiation by sneaking around with Eve. It's all about their deep ward coverage, if they can start getting that. But as of now, since these teams are so even, you can see the wards are very much divided by which side of the map they're on. The deep wards are basically non-existent, which means the lanes are very much just about meeting each other and having both teams farm.
Figure out where to go from there. The ward war being fought in mid lane quite a bit. The Zanya's being finished out along with the Randuins for Seraph as he jumps right to that after his damage of a good early game in that first blood. We'll see what CLG can do as they muster up their power now around the map. We'll see, for now, Dexter heading towards that top side. But it looks like he's going to join the team mid as they get Cloud9 starting to make a move here. Oh, he does dodge it.
Good thing, too, because there's a lot of power onto high right now with the needlessly large rod. Doublelift, despite all the spears, is out-farming Sneaky and doing a great job. As long as you're not dying to the spears and having to back to base frequently, they're not mattering that much. So it's actually okay what CLG is doing right here. But holy crap, how many are they going to land? High as an assassin right now.
Almost.
This is the flank. This is the flank right now. As soon as they try and siege, Eva's behind them. Here comes the TF ult.
It's going to be a huge lockdown. They have full vision no matter what. Agony's Embrace goes down. Deathfire as well. They're going to be hitting Meteos. Almost goes down. He does before he tries to hit Link. Doublelift comes up with a kill on the outside. And it looks like they're chasing down High. He gets a nice swipe, but it's flashed by Link. The damage didn't even connect. Pink wards and wards go down alike to try and finish off this kill. The dart binding hits, and it stops him just before the wild card.
They're just going straight for Baron. That was exactly what CLG has wanted this whole time. They wait for Cloud9 to get confident. They take what the game gives them. They get the flank from Dexter just like we thought they would, and then TF ults in perfectly to just clean up the fight. Now it's all about High trying to solo defend this.
Oh!
And he keeps landing the
spears. He's gonna die! It's gonna rain down on him and kill him! Get out of there! This is gonna be bad if Baron rains down and shreds Mad.
No flash or heal on High.
Kills! There's another hit! High could dive in here and start destroying the team, but he's gotta be worried about
kill the whole team.
Control. Going in, High, dashes in, 1-2, he gets stunned out! It could be the rain down! Lemonation with a few attacks, the play's not enough, Baron somehow goes over to Dexter on the smite, he gets a last hit with the flay damage on the end, and it looks like he is actually gonna chase them as far as he can into their base.
Oh my god, Rip, I have to see that again to see if High's swipe was able to finish them off, because it looked like everyone on CLG was one hit from dead. That's how much harass High had put down on them. But even so, CLG gets the Baron, and now they're on the run.
Oh, the Lee Syndrome goes in, gets the kill. There's the Lantern out. Lemonation there for the safety.
Unbelievable balls on CLG right there to just go for the Baron in that situation against the relentless spears. Now they're trying to take an inhibitor for a Baron trade.
Cloud9 is trying to answer back ferociously right now. 22-50 in, and this game has just taken off to the moon. Aphromo and Doublelift now in the chase. Ard, what relentless pursuit into 3 members of Cloud9. Ardent Blaze into the piercing light. Doublelift starts shredding down Cloud9, but it's a turnaround as Balls bites back for just a second. It's going to be Meteos going down, and it's going to be the Half-Dragon left to pretty much fend for himself. Not much can come of this. There might be a heal on the other side of the wall. Wow. Cloud9's High is there for help after the flash.
Wow.
What chaos.
With all the swings in this game, CLG is walking out of this with substantial edges. They are now 6,000 gold up. And Cloud9 seems to be running out of opportunity no matter how many spears High can land. Let's watch this. I would love to slow it down right as he jumps in. But the spears getting Seraph, finishing them all off. Zanya's actually pops Link because he thought he was going to go down to the Baron there. Finishes one, and here's the dive. How many does he actually get with his swipe? He missed his swipe on the Baron. I think he was going for the Baron steal instead of the kills onto CLG.
Hoping the swipe
or he just misdirected the way his Nidalee was going. Unbelievable swing of the game there. It could have easily been like a 1v5 pennant kill for High if just Baron uses his spells a little bit differently.
That was crazy. That
one more spear
didn't rain down. Oh man, 9-4. 24.
There's a couple levels to that scumbag Crepo Joe.
Yes, there is.
Let's see this dragon. He
Video's
can't
in.
stand to steal it. CLG is playing the objective game very boldly, and is giving them a big lead, but oh man. Push mid, that's why TF is strong right now.
Oh my gosh,
Where's
he does
Zanyas?
have the sheen on this one. Zanyas is there, it's gonna be Afro behind him, but it's a quick bite to get high, or rather Link down. They do take the turret out.
Oh,
whoa!
Whoa! CLG just goes in one after the other, and they're giving up this inhibitor for a dragon. What just happened?
That was amazing. Aframu zombie walking pretty much right into the team, thinking everybody was gonna be there.
How much is Cloud9 going to take from this? Because
They are
CLG
gonna
is
take
down with
20 more seconds.
They might try and end this game. The Culling is trying to stop them.
24 minutes, the culling is absolutely missing. They're trying to deny health and the minions. Keep going on to the HP bars. High is in the back. He gets a heal on. The safeguard, but the piercing light comes through. There's two huge members on CLG. The Dominus is shredding along with the Sunfire Cape. That is big damage to just add on to the auto attacks coming in. It's gonna be the caster minions coming down to take down Meteos on that one, as Dexter is in pursuit of about 600 HP on two members.
That actually evens out the game a fair bit, and it was all about rotations right there. Cloud9 used to be the kings of rotations at this point, and CLG was late to it. Link went in way ahead of the rest of his team to try and save the turret. And Aframu says, I got you. But he clearly did not, because everyone else on the team went the other direction, and Cloud9 collapsed in completely. At that point, they're already down 2, so CLG needs to flank around the side. And thank God for CLG, they had a big gold lead, and Doublelift and Dexter were so strong about this point as well. Seraph being a huge tank, they can actually fight this off 3v5, because this game, this was a window for Cloud9 to potentially win. Yeah. CLG did play this fight very well, though Doublelift got extremely aggressive, while Dexter and Seraph were doing a lot of damage over time, so they got enough kills to at least keep this game in control. But they're down a Nexus turret now, Riv.
Man, I'm liking this summer split, chat. A lot of hectic gameplay.
This game is probably the most hectic one we have had.
Back down to the Dargon. Gonna clear out some pink wards. Get that out of there. 26-26 on the clock. I thought we were almost gonna have a 24-minute ender on this one. Again, Twin Shadows on to Aframu. Been seeing those a little bit more. Just continuously assisting that catch for the team.
Great for landing the Dark Bindings as well. And Cloud9's going to set up another siege. The problem with this is their sieges are very easily initiated on. They need to have some pink ward coverage to the sides and behind them so Dexter can't sneak up on them. Because if Dexter can get in for another E-Vault while Link teleports in, CLG will win the fight easy.
But we got to talk about how crazy this is, that Cloud9's even in the face of Counter Logic Gaming right now. A 3-item Link to a 2-item high, and it's almost the same from right to left.
After
CLG's
that Baron
up and everything.
Yeah, I mean, Sneaky has got a few items, but he's still not hit his last Whisper.
Oh!
He found somebody.
Nope.
There's the flank. It's not even a flank, it's just a straight up the middle.
Throws down the ultimate. Dexter's got a huge shield on. Twin Ghost goes out. Looks like they're going to have to walk through the wall to initiate. Aframu flashes the Soul Shackle, but he gets kicked in the jaw right out of the fight. Sneaky could go down in here, get some shot from the passive, but he already takes down Link. That's huge burst and crowd control that he has denied from the fight. High is low in mana. Doublelift knows it. That is not the first time he's dashed straight into enemies. Doublelift wants the kills, and he knows he can get it.
This time it works, and this fight was all about AD carry positioning. Link tried to go in and get Sneaky, and he couldn't, and then CLG was able to just come back at the end of this fight. They're so hard to follow because these are some of the most stretched fights you'll see, with the Nifty Spears being outranged by the Twisted Fate teleports. The 2-for-1 let CLG push up this mid lane.
CLG finally figured out why they were why Cloud9 was pushing into them, and they figured they could push back, as they do with 8,000 gold. Doublelift is now 7-2-3. Trinity Force finished there along with Link's Lichbane. So if they get up to these turrets, it's going to be fast falling for those.
Doublelift showing why he so heavily values Lucian. But take a look at this fight. I'm more interested about the back of this fight, actually, where the Twisted Fate teleports in for the Twitch. You can see he stuns High instead of Twitch as an option to try and get High out of the fight. But that means Sneaky can open up onto the rest of CLG, which is very dangerous. Luckily, Doublelift targets Sneaky and forces his flash back, and then gets him with enough shots of the Culling to put him out of the fight. That's why this fight was about AD carry positioning. Doublelift with a great reactive flash at the death sentence of Lemon to secure that double.
The mechanics to come out. 217 to 192 in that lane.
Oh no.
Seraph could get caught. That's 3 members. He may go down, but no. Big enough for the team to get here. Looks looks like they're going to hold off onto that one.
He was very tanky that time, but had no backup from the rest of the team. This opens up a huge window for Cloud9 to try and push. Now the question will become, does CLG try and flank this 4v5?
Yeah.
Because if they lost that fight, they'd lose the game. Dexter was thinking about it with his positioning.
8,000 gold down. These type of things cannot happen. Cloud9 grabs another turret after losing a fight. They're fearless as they walk back into these engagements. Dexter in the front right there. Small spear to the backside. He's got that Hex Drinker to keep him a bit safe. Very quick black shield by Aphromoo, realizing that would hit. It looks like they'll be able to get this inhibitor. Good pressure again from Doublelift.
They have to be very careful about this 4v5. Dexter can ultimate if he wants to. They're pushed off the inhibitor successfully.
Wow, really getting the tank line down very low. Again, right into the fight. Lemonation forced on his shield, and it looks like this is going to be the TPN right into the middle. Where's the crowd control? Instant play. He's Zanya's just at the last second. They're going to take that out. Very nice job. They knew they had it. And they
very
low. A huge dive into the fight. It's been high, healing up Balls, but he's still about to go down. Spear just missing Aphromoo on the backside of his wings there. Seraph getting it out of this one alive as well. I might have spoke too soon, but Slice keeps it nice.
This game is so incredibly close. Sneaky wants to open up, but he can't get close enough. Balls teleports back in. How much closer can this game get? If either one of these teams ends up winning that team fight, it could very well be the game. Despite the 7,000 gold lead by CLG, Cloud9 has been an inch away from winning this game on 2 occasions right now. Now they just go for Baron with the pink ward in tow. CLG wants to probably stop this. They don't know if they can get in range in time.
One of the most amazing games I've seen played from a deficit in gold. They have map control. Pink ward goes down. Dexter very much so on the outside of this.
3,000
great
health on
spear going in. Lemonation can throw that box down. His ult is actually not up yet. They need that crowd control for this one. Dexter, a good spear to the backside from high. And this is Counter Logic Gaming trying to figure out what they can do in this fight. And I don't think it's going to be much more. C9 is in pursuit.
They want to be able to touch Doublelift. As long as Doublelift is firing with all his items, Cloud9 is not able to win these fights. They pushed off Dexter, but they were prevented from doing the Baron.
Doublelift combos very clean today, making sure he gets all the damage in. And Cloud9.
What is up with CLG games this week, Rick?
Dargan.
They have had 2 of the craziest games, one against Dignitas, and this one against Cloud9. They almost feel like reversals of each other, because in the Dignitas game, it was the lead for Dignitas, and CLG with just the Dark Binding to initiate, trying to make it in. They're the ones with the Nidalee pokes, trying to make the plays, and CLG successfully did so. And then in this one, it was honestly just CLG making a rotational error in the mid lane when they went for an extra dragon after they'd already been able to secure the Baron. Almost the same mistake that Dignitas made in their game against CLG, and it gets punished by Cloud9.
Feeling a bit of their own medicine, you could say. 7 turrets to 4. They only have 4 more turrets to drop on the map. You got to realize one of those is already a Nexus turret. Cloud9 went above and beyond in the time they had to push the base. It was 30-second respawn, so we're at 24 minutes in the game. Cloud9 has now been trying that last 8 minutes to get back into the base, as CLG is doing their damnedest to stop it as well, because I'm sure they're kind of lost at what's going on. This is the first time we've kind of seen CLG without a plan.
Yeah, we still need to kind of refocus, and I believe CLG will be doing the same thing on what the priorities are. There's not much, there's not very high damage dive on the Cloud9 team. Even if Meteos and Balls try to dive on a Doublelift, he might be strong enough now that he can just kill them both. So at that point, it's all about the spear poke, and 5v5 should actually be at the advantage of CLG. They can still pull off a Link teleport into the backline with a Dexter flank, and most likely win the team fight. They do have to worry a little about Sneaky's burst potential with his Rat-a-tat, but just because of Doublelift strength and the low damage dive that Cloud9 has, it could be good for CLG, but they have to burn the Twisted Fate ultimate just in fear of the Cloud9 Baron. So that flank attack is gone now for a bit.
High is very close to getting a Void Staff, which will pretty much just go through whatever that matters.
They're going for it. They got a flank.
Now is Dexter on the outside. High is the first one. If he's out of the fight and can't throw, that's great. But then they turn around, giving High the distance he needs to throw spears.
Doubles is down.
Wow, Sneaky and the rest of the team. That rat-a-tat-tat was perfectly placed as Counter Logic Gaming kind of balled up for him. Now Balls is in pursuit. Sneaky and Lemonation going off to the left side, making sure that the base is going to be open for the longest amount of time.
Man.
That was a spear. That was a shot. This could be game.
That has to be game. 35-second death timers, 1 Nexus turret up. Sneaky opened on the entire team, the thing that CLG could not let happen in a team fight, and he was the one who took down Doublelift. in this one. Ball's trying to take the turret. Dexter, the one-man army trying to defend.
Balls is going to be the one on that turret. He's going to get heals from high. He'll be able to stay there. 34 minutes. Like I said, just 8 minutes later is all Cloud9 needed after their first take on the advantage, and they're going to take down Counter Logic Gaming.
An indescribable game in just a few sentences because so much happened there. Cloud9, with their backs against the wall, forced CLG into some questionable decisions, I would have to say. It was a bit of a CLG collapse. After making so many good calls in so many of their games, they made some bad ones. They went up the mid lane, they got picked off on a couple occasions, their initiations became very sloppy, and Sneaky took over with that Twitch late game. High landed so many damn spears, pushed off of his main champions, pushed onto Nidalee, and boy did he make CLG pay, spear after spear. Nearly 1v5 acing them at the Baron pit, not quite. It seemed like the game was over at that point. That was only the beginning.